Greetings to readers, viewers, and listeners, and welcome to this special edition of the Autistic SuperBlog, or the Autistic Super Channel's DoubleHeader. This is going to be a continuation of the SuperBlog verses, but only in this particular case when in the future when I do NXT and a WWE PLE, I want to be able to make sure I do something different for all you guys. For all you dear readers, so that I can kind of get everything in all at once. This is still going to be a part of the SuperBlog verses, but it's going to be the double header because of the time it'll take to do these things. So this is going to be the one for NXT Stand and Deliver, as well as WrestleMania 40, both nights 1 and night 2. So I'm just letting you know just right out of the gate that that's going to be the format going forward when it comes to something like this. I want to be able to make sure I get everything done. And as you might expect, this is, yes, pre-recorded, but that's only because of the fact that I don't want to take away from anything that's going to be going on when it comes to set reveals and all that stuff. So I just want to let you all know that as of April 3rd, 2024, near 5 o'clock, I have no idea what's going on right now, and I wanted to kind of give a format a little bit of a chance to breathe, but also because of the fact that since NXT and WrestleMania is so stacked, I wanted to make sure that there was a way for me to kind of balance it out, so we can all get everything together. So first up, we're going to be going to NXT, and I'll do the singles match right now, with Shawn Spears versus Joe Gacy. I feel like Shawn Spears is going to win this one because I feel like he's the up-and-comer when it comes to something like this. I feel like he needs to win. Joe Gacy does need to win, but not as much as Shawn Spears does, to kind of get himself into a situation where he can climb up the ladder of contention when it comes to the main event, which I'll get into a little bit. Then we're going to have, as it stands right now, Obafemi on defending his North American Championship against Dijak and Josh Briggs. At this particular point, this is one that's in progress because I've heard some scary stuff about what might be going on. So as of right now, I'm going to go with Dijak. I mean, Obafemi's done a great job, but I feel like it's time to kind of get him to level up to that main roster spot, or an NXT Championship at some point. Then we have Lyra Valkyria defending her NXT Women's Championship against Roxanne Perez. I feel like Lyra's going to win this one, if only to give Roxanne a chance to go to the main roster at this point. And I'm thinking about this more on the lines of the main roster call-ups, because usually with the Raw after WrestleMania, they usually have people going into main events. So I feel like Lyra will win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Roxanne won this one either. This one, the next one's going to be a little bit easier though for me to predict. It's going to be a tag team match for the NXT tag team titles: Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I feel like Baron Corbin is going to cost Braun Breaker the NXT tag team titles, if for the only reason that Braun Breaker has been called up to SmackDown already, and I feel like this might be their way to get out of it. So I'm gonna go with Axiom and Nathan Frazier to win this one. I feel like I feel like he needs to. Then we have a 6-woman tag team match: Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, and Kalani Jordan versus JC Jane, Kiana James, and Izzy Dean with Jasmine Nix. Maybe I got that thing wrong. I want to make sure that I do. And I'm going to go with JC Jane, Kiana James, and Izzy. Mostly because I feel like they're the up-and-comers, and I feel like they need this. I mean, I know I'm going to say this again, but that's beside the point. Then we have Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. Again, I mean, this one's been really good from what I've seen of it. I feel like Trick Williams is over with the crowd. I feel like when it comes to something like this, I feel like Carmelo Hayes is main event bound. And I feel like Trick Williams is the up-and-coming star. So I feel like Carmelo Hayes will take the fall for Trick Williams. So Trick Williams wins, so that Carmelo Hayes is getting up to the main roster. Um, and then, we have Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. Now, this one's a little bit interesting. Ilya has done a great job with the championship, but I feel like Tony D'Angelo has to win this one. I feel like it's going to go into something I'm going to get into a little bit later with the WrestleMania picks, but I feel like Tony D'Angelo needs this win more than anything. He needs to win because he feels like a main event player to me. But I feel like he needs a chance to get a championship reign to kind of solidify himself as the Don, as it were. So those are my predictions for WrestleMania for NXT Stand and Deliver. Then we get into WrestleMania. Then we get into WrestleMania 40. And I want to just say one thing about this, just before I get into any kind of detail. I feel like things are going to change with certain things, with Triple H now being in full control of the creative process. I feel like WrestleMania 39 was marred by Vince McMahon being involved so much in the creative process. Now that it's over, now that his reign has come to an end, I feel like this might actually be Triple H trying to correct things that are going on, and you'll hear what I mean when it comes to something like this. We're going to get into night one first, and we're going to go with Rhea Ripley defending her World Women's Championship against Becky Lynch. I feel like Becky Lynch is going to win this one. I mean, Rhea Ripley has had a stranglehold on that title when it comes to something like this. So I feel like Becky Lynch is going to win this one. I feel like she's deserving of it when it comes to something like this. I feel like it's time. And then we have the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther going up against Sami Zayn. They have really pushed Sami Zayn to a main event place. Though I would not be so surprised if Chad Gable got involved in this match too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it went to a triple threat match if it came down to it. But I still believe that Gunther's going to lose the Intercontinental Championship to Sami Zayn. I feel like that's where they're going with this. But I would not be so surprised if Gunther won the championship at this point. I feel retain the title at this point. Then we have the Judgment Day defending their undisputed tag team titles against DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth, The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus the New Catch Republic with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. This one I feel like could steal the show. I feel like this one could be the one that steals the show. And that's saying a lot. One thing I will say though, I mean this might be their way of kind of splitting up the tag team titles. So that one team grabs one title and the other team grabs another set of titles. I feel like that's the way it should be going. And if I had to choose, I would go with DIY to win or the New Catch Republic to win, if that is the case. Then we have a singles match, Jimmy and Jey Uso going up against each other. I really hope that this is not, I really hope that this gets into something that we're getting into. I feel like, I feel like Jey Uso is the bigger star. I feel like Jey Uso is the bigger star. I mean, just hear the crowd. I feel that that's the way that they need to go. Jey should win this one. Then we have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. I feel like Belair, Cargill, and Naomi should win because they'll kind of get into something that might get a little bit interesting coming into night 2. Then we have the Latino World Order, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I feel like this is the one they've been trying to get into. I feel like the Latino World Order is going to win this one, if only to humble Santos Escobar and to humble Dirty Don. I'm all for it. I feel like that's the way that they need to go. Then we have the Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. We all know the stipulation. If Rhodes and Rollins wins, all members of the Bloodline will be barred. During night 2, if Rock and Reigns win, championship match on night 2 will be held under Bloodline rules. This one's very interesting for me. I feel like Cody and Seth will win. Though we have to... There's so much to this story that I feel like I'm going to say that Cody and Seth win, but it'll still be a no disqualification match when it comes to something like this because of what might happen on night 2. So I'm going to go with Cody and Seth winning this one. But then we also have a singles... but I would not be so surprised if Drew McIntyre comes in to kind of help his chances when it comes to night 2, which is Seth freaking Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre. I feel like Drew is due for this one. I feel like the beatdown that Seth freaking Rollins is going to get into is going to be so much so that Drew McIntyre is going to be able to win. I feel like that's the way they're going for this one. So I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre winning the World Heavyweight title, and then Bayley winning the Women's World Champion, the WWE Women's Championship against Io Sky. I feel like again it's a great match, but I feel like there's something to it. Triple threat match: Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. This is one where I feel like Randy Orton. I feel like this is one that Kevin Owens could win, and I feel like should win, because he's just been through so much when it comes to things like this. And because of the triple threat stipulation, there's no way they could be disqualified. So it means that Kevin Owens could win this one. And it could mean that he could pin Randy Orton to screw out Logan Paul. That would be the way to go, I think. And then we have a 6-man Philadelphia street fight. The Pride, Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford, with the final testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razor. This one is going to be one of those matches where I feel like if this does not open the show on night 2, it would be a good idea. But I feel like the final testament need this win more than anything else. I feel like when it comes to things like this, I feel like the Final Testament needs a win more than anything else. Though I would not be surprised if the Pride won on this one. And then we have Reigns Rhodes 2 in a TBD match for the undisputed Universal Championship. I feel like it's not going to be Bloodline rules. I feel like The Rock's going to get involved. He's going to screw Roman Reigns and finally finish the story for Cody Rhodes, or at least help Cody Rhodes finish the story. So those are my predictions. I know it's been a long one. It'll be a little bit shorter, but I'm getting into this. So if you like these videos, please check me out here on the Autistic Super channel, and you can check out all my videos on the AutisticSuperBlog.wordpress.com, and you can check me out on social media if you want to. Stay safe, stay strong, and as always, shine on.